Yo my guys, what is good? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well. As you can see, we're back in the studio today. More of an informative one. I'm going to be showing you guys how you can kind of make those beats that sort of transform throughout like a song. So for example, one of the songs of Baby Keem's new project, Family Ties with Kendrick, it's got quite a few little switch ups here and there, and I wanted to kind of cover the subtleties of that, as well as kind of breaking down some melodies and the differences in melodies I found with that track, and how you could kind of apply some of those changes to your own music to make it more unique. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you stay up to date with the producer content on a weekly basis here. That is pretty much it. Let's jump into this one. Alright guys, so to start out, we started out with this symphony orchestra patch I've got here. I'm using string violas on spiccato, which basically means it's really short phrasing. And then I'm also using another bank here on bass trumpets on staccatismo. And this is kind of what fits the vibe. I've got it in C sharp major at 116 BPM to start, and this is what the melodies sound like together. So as you can see on this melody, the second one on the horns, I've just pitched up that top note there, up an octave like that, to kind of give it more of a dynamic feel. And then straight after that, I've added this little arcade texture here. Just solo that for you. So it's just kind of, it almost hits at the same time as the high note in the horns, so it kind of fits really well, and it doesn't really stand out too much, which is kind of what I wanted, because I wanted the brass and the strings to be doing the main sort of part. So then literally all I did for this section here is I just added some really simple drums. So I'm going to play those drums for you now. I'm using, for the drum sounds, all the sounds from my Phantom drum kit here. So this is how the drum sounded. Started putting some snare rolls here and there because you hear that like in the tracks. And to get them so nice and short and crisp, I actually had it at like double the length like this, and I've just held Alt whilst they're selected and shrunk them down, and they just sound a lot more crisp that way. And if you find like it doesn't sound good, maybe you've got the octave too low, because honestly when you try and do them on the lower octaves it just sounds like shit. That's sort of the basic sort of drum pattern. The kick and the 808 are literally identical, and then just your kind of typical claps with some snare rolls in. And that kind of gives the whole sort of vibe of like the first part here. It's kind of, you got the hi-hats just hitting really occasional. I'll show you like this. So you just got that. And that's just to leave a lot more space. So yeah, that's pretty much the first part of the beat. And there's something I wanted to point out that I found in the structure. For example, they have like a beat shop here, so you go into beat like this, and then what I did is I just deleted all of these, and this was just stretched out, and then I've just cut it on beat like I just showed you like this. And then what I've done is just deleted them all, and then I've just repeated this one over 8 times to give that kind of knock-in feel that it has like in the middle of the track on Family Ties. And one last thing I did here was in the intro, I actually just double stacked the horns here. So all I did was just duplicate them and put it up an octave, because you can see it's literally identical. So that's what I did for that section of the beat. Now, I'm going to play you guys the transition into the next part. So what I'm doing with this one, this is also very similar to the first part, but I've changed the key. I've gone up 1 semitone from C sharp major to D major. And the drums are pretty much the same, but the actual melody I'm using is in Omnisphere here, and it's more of a synth. When I heard Family Ties, you've got more of like a synth feel in the second part of the instrumental, so I'm going to sort of show you how that's sounding. I got it on String Machines on Busted Paraphonic Cello. Then I just bring that Blam 808 back in. So that section is pretty much very simple, and what I did here is I put in a little reverb automation that you can see here, And this just allowed the tail of this beat, this part of this pattern, to just kind of carry over a bar like this. Just so it kind of glides a little bit smoother while there's a break there. So yeah, essentially the drums were really similar here, but I did want to add in one more melody because I heard these kind of little piano keys kind of playing. And I've used the triplet rhythm here in Keyzone Classic. I'm using the Yamaha grand piano here, and this is kind of what it sounds like. So that's just an octave different. So I've just repeated those over. So now for the last part. Now I found for the last part there was a real big change in melody. So I didn't want to go ahead and make a whole new melody. So what I did was I got that melody that I just showed you that was in Omnisphere, and I've just gone into here, render as a WAV file using the cello, and then I've gone in here, and as you can see I've reversed it. And then the key component of what I've done at this point for the third transition is I've changed the tempo. So you can just right click here and you can copy the value, and then you can create an automation clip right here. So I've pretty much took it from 116 to 140 here because it becomes more up tempo, more aggressive. So I'm going to I put on some different drums with that as well, just to make it a little bit more sort of unique. So I've got more aggressive and more often hits on the 808, and I got at least a 2-step pattern in for the drum. Alright, so to start this off, I've got that reverse part, and then I've brought in the 808. So I've used a different 808, the ATL 808, and I've got it a little bit more aggressive, and it's looking like this. So I've got some chopped parts here. I used Alt U to do that, like that. And I'm going to just let you hear how this part of the sample sounds. Hard, and then we bring in the rest of the drums right here. Put a soft clip on the 808 there. So I'm going to just copy that there. I'm going to also put in a kick on Cactus there, and then Alt K just to bring them all to the same. And I'm just going to turn this up. What I'm going to actually do is take that out, put that in 10. So yeah, this one was quite summative. Hopefully it helped you guys out. I'd say the main thing to take away from this is in the first part, what I've done is I've used orchestral elements, and like a slightly different progression that's just going da da da. And then obviously the other main takeaway is the kind of beat stop, where it's just cutting the first beat of the bar to kind of create more tension and more of a punch before it goes back in. Obviously as well, the tempo automation, that can really change the mood, as well as the key changes that I showed you, even though they're subtle. So that's pretty much how you would go about doing it. The automations are kind of really what make this beat sort of change around a little bit and have more of a presence or more of an atmosphere than just a simple standard beat, because you're changing moods depending on the sound selection you're using, the key and the BPM. So hopefully you guys have followed this well. Let me know in the comments. I appreciate everyone watching up to this point. If you want to support the channel, obviously you can check the links in the description to my store. 50% off the Phantom drum kit, which has the ATL 808 and the Blam 808 that I was using in here, as well as all the other drum sounds that I've used. So that is pretty much it from me today. If any of you guys want to hear the beat, I'm going to play it for you now with all the parts in it, so you guys can get a feel for it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.